Lots of drama in the pits already starting here for round number 2.
I always run hard and I always go out there to win.
There's going to be a lot more competition. The guys are going to be a little more uptight. They're going to be checking the trucks more. And
I hate everybody. When I go to the line, everybody's the enemy. It doesn't matter if it's my son or if it's one of the other competitors.
Everybody kind of steps it up and make sure their trucks are ready to go. And if they're not, everybody thrashes and helps each other get them ready.
You get in there, light goes green, I go, wow.
Start doing purse, the whole attitude changes throughout the whole thing.
It's Rick Long in Bigfoot, followed by Dan Patrick and Samson, Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer, Rick Swanson in Obsession, Paul Jensen in Spider-Man, and Frank Scattini in Monster Jerky. Our standings in obstacle course racing after one round, it's Rick Swanson on top in the Obsession, followed by Dan Patrick in Samson, Rick Long in Bigfoot, Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer, Frank Scattini in Monster Jerky, and Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. We move right along now to qualifying round number 1 here in round 2 of MOD action in the 2006 season. Coming out first, it's Rick Long in Bigfoot. He'll do battle with Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck.
That's right, and some great racing action expected out here for qualifying. And you notice Bigfoot red light there immediately off the line. Obsession going to walk away with the win here in qualifying round number 1.
Bigfoot really having some problems there. He left a full second early. What was he looking at?
I don't know, but it certainly was not the green light that he was waiting for that would have won him this race. If you notice how quick he is off the line, right there, FabTech waited. That's Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck going to get him the win out here for qualifier number 1.
It's Dan Patrick and Samson, the biggest arms in the business, going up against Paul Jensen and Spider-Man. Paul Jensen struggled in round 1. Let's see if he's got the kinks worked out. Samson looking strong here. He's across the line. His time 4.340, and Spider-Man jumped the light. He is disqualified, Kevin.
That's right. It's not going to matter how fast or how slow he ran out there. Once you hit the red light, it immediately disqualifies the run.
Our next qualifying run will feature Frank Scattini in Monster Jerky. He drives standing up, again, inside that vehicle. Looks more like a motorcycle than the traditional steering wheel, and he's going to go up against Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer, a very formidable competitor here in MOD action. Both trucks looking strong, but look at Craig Christensen fly across the finish there. His time, 4.083, followed by Monster Jerky, 4.238. What a great run for Dragon Slayer.
I got to tell you, a 4.083, flirting with that 3-second barrier. That's the fastest time we've seen the season so far. Now we move on to qualifying action with Rick Swanson in the Obsession truck. Coming back for the second lane qualifying. It looks like Swanson going to be running by himself in that FabTech truck. And easy enough heading into the semifinal round with that run.
Bigfoot unable to come out here for the second round of qualifying. We'll have to find out what happened to him.
Here comes Paul Jensen and Spider-Man back out for his second qualifying run as well. Now, back in round number 1, Jensen had some problems with the truck. He's able to come out and compete out here tonight very strong. And what better of a competitor to jump off with than Samson, driver Dan Patrick. And look at Samson off the line. Here he goes, man, oh man, with an easy win of 4.175, Wade.
And Spider-Man red lights again. He is having trouble with that timing light, just not getting it done. We're getting a report from the garage, the problem with Bigfoot, a broken axle, and Spider-Man just not able to time the start as he is DQ'd for the second time.
And here we go, our 2005 season champion back out, Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer, pitted against Frank Scattini in the Monster Jerky truck. Now, the Monster Jerky truck more like a motorcycle, and here we go, sleeping on the light, the Monster Jerky a little bit behind, but coming up to the finish line, they go side by side. Monster Jerky going to head off with a 4.326, taking the win against Dragon Slayer with a 4.377, Wade.
Christensen really had some trouble here. He got out of his lane and almost suffered a 2-second penalty. He really struggled over that car stack, but that gave the victory to Frank Scattini. So your qualifying results look like this. It's Dan Patrick in first, Frank Scattini in second, Craig Christensen third, Rick Swanson fourth, Paul Jensen fifth, And finishing last was Rick Long in Bigfoot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, down here with driver Dan Patrick. Now, Dan, you've been doing this a long time, and you came out here and you showed him that experience sure does pay off, especially in that SAMSON truck.
Now, a long time just means a couple weeks, doesn't it? Yeah. No, we qualified terrible last night, new timing system, all that. And so I don't know how many times we've been down the course over the years, but, we got it in tonight, and I think, we're in for a good night.
Well, I tell you what, with a 4.175 for tonight, that is one of the fastest times that we've seen posted in the straight line drags. It's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, it does. All these guys are tough, And last night you had a couple of guys you didn't think were going to get around. You got around us pretty easy. So, hopefully we'll be talking about this at the end of the race now. So it'll be a good race. It's going to be a close race tonight. Everybody will get a good time.
Well, Dan, you've certainly got the experience, and it's going to pay off out here tonight. You came out fast qualifying time. You keep that up over the course of the night, looks like you're going to go home a winner.
Yeah, the old Samson's running pretty good for an old ride. She's 13 years old, and she's still pecking along there. So we'll give her our best shot.
Let's talk to Frank Scattini about what he thinks of the new qualifying format.
Well, I guess 2 qualifying lanes, gives us an option to learn on the first one. Because this is a track I've never run anything like this before. It's real tight in the turns, and having double qualifying for any race, you get to see what it's like the first time, maybe better your time the next time. Try something different. If it feels good the first time, try something. If it's a little slower, so you have your pit crew in there watching too, and you can learn real quick. And qualifying, I guess as far as they set it up, you might be running a guy that's not as fast in your first round if you can qualify better. And by all means, when money's involved, double qualifying sounds like a good idea to me. Monster truck drivers, it's just natural. It's the industry. There are a lot of great guys, and your truck breaks, you're gonna get help. It doesn't matter if you're racing for $1,000 or $10,000. It's just in their nature. They're good old boys, and everybody's friends. I don't care. Even if they look like enemies, it's not like wrestling on TV where they hype up this I hate you stuff. And these guys are all friends. We're good friends. And anything I got is as good as theirs, even if I'm running them next round. And I could always just say, if you beat me, I'll just say, hey, those are my parts. That's why you won.
Thing is, you can get so caught up in making a bunch of changes that, you get upside down. So, the course will be faster this time because the cars are down and stuff. So, no, we're not going to really change that much. We're just going out and try to be consistent. Even though, we got second in both rounds, at the end of the year when the points count, that's better than a first and a fifth, So it's all about consistency, and that's been our game throughout my racing career, is being consistent. It was so close that usually, in a situation like this, if the wrong call had been made, the other team been up in arms. So nobody was up in arms and upset or anything like that. So it was so close, and we learned that, the timing equipment trips off, whatever the farthest point of the truck is. Well, not all trucks are the same. So what we'll do is we'll measure the truck here that has the longest nose on it. We go back to the shop. We come back with the same length. So, I mean, it's so close that a bumper that's 6 inches farther out than what we've got, that's the difference between winning and losing.
Independent guys kind of stick together, which is what I kind of expected would happen. And for the most part, the offer from the big guys was there, but it was usually after the fact. Everybody wants to go out there and win, and that's what it's all about.
We all want to help each other. We don't want to see anybody lose because of, a mechanical failure or something like that. We want to lose because, the best man won. I have a different motor this year, a lot more cubes, so hopefully I can handle the power, I guess.
Yeah, the lights affect me big time because I'm trying to focus on where the lights are at and where they're running down, and I can't turn my head a lot with the Hans on, where I'm kind of limited what I can see and what I can't, but it's something we'll have to deal with to figure it out.
Well, I do pretty good in both of them, I mean, the straight line drag, the deal there is whoever gets a whole shot's going to get it, If you cut a good light, there's not enough room to run anybody down. So, I think tonight it'll be a driver's course for the turning course. But everybody's pretty good competition, last night Samson was the guy to run, he's tough, but everybody here is tough, it can go any direction. I plan on being in the finals, and I plan on winning it.
I'm strong in everything, you know that. It don't matter to me. I prefer the turning course over the straight line, but if we can get the motor to hook up and get down the track, then a horsepower, game works to my benefit. And right now, we're just trying to get all of our ducks in a row and get everything running.
No, the thing is again, it's not to get upside down and just trying to redo everything. It's just that, we cut good lights. We kind of got a handle on that. Maybe tonight we may be red lighting, but, last night was a learning experience for everybody, and we picked up a lot.
We move on to straight line drag competition. This is heat number 1. There's Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. Supposed to be opposing him is Frank Scattini in Monster Jerky, but Scattini blew a motor trying to come to the line, and it's going to be Spider-Man taking a time of 5.876. Nothing to prove here, just needed to advance, Kevin.
That's right, and especially with Monster Jerky having problems, let's take a look at the replay. Paul Jensen does not come out in full force here during this straight line drag heat race, and really has no reason to. He doesn't have any competition out there right now. That's going to advance him to the semifinals. All right, and moving along now to heat number 2, where we're going to see our 2005 season champion, Craig Christensen, in the Dragon Slayer, going to be pitted up against Rick Swanson in the Obsession. Wade, this should be a great race during heat race in action.
Swanson did really well in round 1, and he's going to do that again here tonight if he can, but it looks like Dragon Slayer gets the jump on him. Coming across the line first, it's Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer, 4.420 the time. Swanson's time, 4.796.
Rick Swanson going to have to step away from this, the loser of the first round here. Here we see that Swanson was sleeping a little bit off the light. Look at how far ahead Dragon Slayer was by the time they got to the finish line. And there was a little bit of time difference. Let's take a look at the reaction time here in the replay, Wade.
Yeah, there you see it. Christensen just about 14 hundredths of a second faster off the line, and that made a big difference in this race. Never fear, though. Rick Swanson may get a chance to come back as fast as loser. There's a good chance we could see him later in this straight line drag competition.
That's right. Craig Christensen, definitely a difficult truck to beat out here tonight. Dragon Slayer is coming on strong here in round number 2 in Roswell, New Mexico.
This sets up heat number 3, featuring Dan Patrick in the SAMSON truck. He's supposed to be going up against BIGFOOT, but BIGFOOT has a broken axle, so SAMSON will get a free pass if he can get through this course unscathed. He does, and he sets the track record here in Roswell with a time of 3.944. What a run for SAMSON. He means business.
That's right, and looking at the replay, he was all about the win out there. A fast time of the evening. Not only that, but for the season so far in Roswell, New Mexico, reaction time of 0.243, so he was fast all the way around, Wade.
Move on to the first semifinal. It will be Dragon Slayer going up against Spider-Man, Christensen against Jensen, father against son, Kevin.
That's right, both out of Salt Lake City, Utah area, and this is a battle that we saw not only a lot last year, but this season we've already seen it coming, where Craig Christensen likes to come out and prove who is still boss out here in the Dragon Slayer truck, but nonetheless, Spider-Man running Dragon Slayer's old motor. Let's see how he does here.
Dragon Slayer quicker off the line, but gamely, here comes Paul Jensen. It's a close race, but Dragon Slayer and Christensen take it 4.383 to Spider-Man's 4.663.
You know, it's a heck of a lot better than what we saw last week out of Paul Jensen and the Spider-Man. They had a lot to dial in. They had some mechanical difficulties, and now he comes out and shows that he's got something to prove out here tonight. Now look at the replay here. Dragon Slayer off the line first, across the line first, thus proving why he's our 2005 season champion.
There's a lot of rumors in the MOD garage that the old man gives the kid the equipment that's not quite so good because he's not ready to see Paul Jensen take over that throne, but who knows if it's true? I don't know.
And look at that reaction time. Dragon Slayer with a .217 put down by Spider-Man with a .132. Just goes to show that it looks like Dragon Slayer has got a little bit more experience with Craig Christensen's truck as well as the motor to do the job. Moving on to semifinal action in the straight line drags. Here we go. It's driver Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession truck. Going to be pitted up against one of the fastest drivers on the circuit right here, Dan Patrick in SAMSON.
Got the hammer down again. SAMSON is flying over the car stack across the line. He did it again. 3.889, a new track record here in Roswell, New Mexico.
I got to tell you, that Hemi has got an awful lot of punch out there. Not a lot of these large big block Chevrolet motors can compete with them, supercharged or not. Look at this. Dan Patrick is off the line. He has got the hammer down. There is no question in anybody's mind out there that he is out here to win here in round number 2.
He must have a green light inside the cab of that truck. His reaction time was phenomenal.
Let's take a look at this. Obsession was sleeping a little bit on the light, and that was the difference between winning or losing. Now, not that Rick Swanson didn't have what it took, but I tell you what, Samson just had more of it this time around to take the win.
Tough to beat here tonight is Dan Patrick. He is on his game. Monster. Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. It's time for the straight line drag final. Your trucks, Dragon Slayer, driven by Craig Christensen, and Samson, driven by Dan Patrick. Samson has broken the track record not once, but twice here tonight.
That's right, Samson, one of the fastest trucks we've ever seen out here, especially in Roswell, New Mexico. Here they go, they're off the line. It's coming down to the wire. Oh my goodness, too close to call. We go to the timing equipment, and Dragon Slayer by 9 1/1000ths of a second is going to put Samson home empty-handed as the second place driver.
I don't believe what I just saw. Dan Patrick was on top of it all night, and Craig Christensen just came out and beat him.
I tell you what, that was an absolutely close race. 9 1/1000ths of a second is not even visible by the human eye. Only the infrared timing equipment can tell that difference, and let's look at it again.
Monster truck fans, this is what MOD is all about. You got to go to the thousandths place to separate them here tonight. But your final standings in straight line drags, it's Craig Christensen first in the Dragon Slayer, followed by Dan Patrick and Samson, Rick Swanson in Obsession, Paul Jensen in Spider-Man, Rick Long in Bigfoot, and Frank Scattini in Monster Jerky. So Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer continues his winning ways, taking the straight line drag title here in round 2 from Roswell, New Mexico. He's going to step out of that truck, and I bet the fans are going to show him their appreciation, and they do. Let's send it down to Kevin Hines for a word with our winner.
Well, Craig, you fought through snow yesterday, you fought time, you fought everything to get here yesterday for round number 1. Now, round number 2, you come out here, you put it down, and you end up champion in the straight line drags. Got to make you feel pretty good.
Well, it's a lot better than round 1. Like I say, we always like to finish on top, and we had our fair share of troubles. We're trying new suspension. We've got a new motor combination, and we're just trying to get everything working. And like I say, we finally seem to get it dialed in. And the clocks or the lights are something that's different for us, so we're learning that. So there's a lot of things that you have to take in consideration. Dan Patrick is no slouch. He runs a big Hemi. They build tons of horsepower, and, we've heard all last year you got to have a Hemi when you go outdoors. Well, I'm showing everybody that you don't have to have a Hemi. You can take an old wore-out Chevrolet and go hunting for Hemis.
Well, I tell you what, you did a great job. 9 1/1000ths of a second separated you and put you in the champion circle here in round number 2, so congratulations.
Thanks very much. It's a team effort. My whole team is family, and if it wasn't for Mike and Paul, we help each other each and every pass trying to get everything done, and there's a lot of camaraderie, and there's a lot of arguing and bickering that goes on back behind the scenes, too, that you don't see, but, each person for himself until you come to the line. Everybody helps each other until you come to the line, and then it's each person for themselves, but it's still a team effort, and we'll take the win for the team.
That's right. Well, Craig, congratulations once again, showing why you're our 2005 Series champion. It's great to have you back.
I hear you. And like I say, there's always the turning course and freestyle yet, so they haven't seen nothing yet.
That's right, Craig. Congratulations. Thanks for coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Christensen, put your hands together for the Dragon Slayer. 9 1/1000ths of a second victory. We're going to talk to Dan Patrick first. Now, Dan, you had the fastest reaction time in the fastest lane all night long. You come out, you go up against our series champion of last year. You guys were separated by 9 1/1000ths of a second for the championship here in the drag race finals. That's got to make you feel good knowing you put up an excellent fight.
Well, Greg's no slouch. He's been around as long as I have, so he's a current champion. So, it's like he's got a walker there. So, we'll come back and get it next time.
Well, Dan, great effort out there. You had an excellent reaction time. We look forward to seeing you out here in the Chicago-style obstacle course. It's been a pleasure having you out here and gracing our sport with some of the fastest racing we've seen yet.
Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Patrick, put your hands together for Samson. 9 1/1000ths of a second.
Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. Wade Sherman and Kevin Hines with you from Roswell, New Mexico. This is heat number 1 in obstacle course racing. Paul Jensen and Spider-Man gets a bye here. Monster Jerky unable to come out due to the motor problem.
That's right. When we got a chance to run down and talk with him there after the last interview, Monster Jerky actually blew a couple of holes in the bottom of his motor, not able to even put it together for tonight's racing action. So it looks like Paul Jensen and Spider-Man's going to have a pretty easy bye here, moving on to quarterfinal action.
We get a good look at the course, how the dirt is reacting to these tires tonight. In round one, a lot of trouble getting around that turn. They were clipping that center obstacle. Same problem here tonight, but Paul Jensen keeps it moving, comes across the line with a time of 12:181.
That's right. Last week in round number one had awful problems with that motor in the Spider-Man machine. Now this time around, looks like he's got it dialed in. He's using Craig Christensen's old motor, and take a look at this corner. Last week we saw the drivers have a ton of trouble with that corner getting over the mound and lined up for the straight line finish. And it looks like Paul Jensen is actually getting it dialed in with a .155 reaction time, Wade.
Heat number 2 now will feature Rick Swanson in the Obsession machine. He'll be doing battle with Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. Craig, our 2005 champion in obstacle course racing. He's really known for getting around those turns. They get off the line well. It's close at the turn. Swanson on the brakes, carries that turn a little wide. He's in trouble. Craig Christensen putting together a heck of a run here. He's across the line, 11:022. He beat Swanson by a full second.
That's right, and that is one of the fastest times posted on this J-Style course that we have seen so far this season. Let's take a look at the replay and figure out why. Look at Christensen. He slides into that corner, a beautiful power slide, gets it lined up, barely takes a clip off the mound, and off he goes with the hammer down all the way to the finish, earning him an 11-second victory.
Yeah, Swanson's time really comparable to Spider-Man's. He didn't go slow. It was just that Dragon Slayer was really, really on his game here in this heat. Let's talk to Craig Christensen on his thoughts on obstacle course racing.
Separates the men from the boy. Any idiot can go fast in a straight line and hang on the steering wheel. You got to be able to finesse the truck and get it around the corner. And not that you've seen that last night from us, but like I say, we'll do what we can and get around the corner and see if we can't set fast time for the weekend.
Rick Long and BIGFOOT struggled in round one. Let's find out why.
I bent a shock and then I seized up an air spring, so it got pretty crazy trying to figure out just what it was and how to fix it in between rounds because there's not much time. My crew guy Jim Kramer, he's the one that figured it out, and helped me out, and we kept on going. Well, if you look, my shock's leaking all over. So top's tight. We're trying to get in there and make sure that it's not leaking anymore. It's just pouring out, Jim. And we never missed a pass. BIGFOOT's got a big enough name. I need to go out there and run hard all the time. I can't lay down.
So here we are in heat number 3 of obstacle course racing. BIGFOOT recovered from a broken axle. They missed straight line drags earlier in the show, and he's out to take his obstacle course run against that man, Dan Patrick, in SAMSON.
Well, unfortunately, that truck has been plagued by problems so far this season, but it seems like they're able to get them fixed and get right back out to racing action. Driver Rick Long and, of course, his crew there, including Jim Kramer, joining him out here for Roswell, New Mexico, round 1 and 2. Here we go with an 11.743. SAMSON is going to take the win over BIGFOOT. Wade, that was an awful close race.
0.04 of a second separating first and second place here. SAMSON really strong around this turn. Got a good run going here, bobbles a little bit, catches the corner of that center obstacle, slows him down just a little bit.
SAMSON with that very strong Hemi making a showing. Let's take a look at it one more time. Look at the reaction time of .128 by driver Rick Long.
This competition is so tight, it's spooky. And you know what else is spooky, Kevin? Roswell, New Mexico. There's all kinds of strange stuff going on here. Let's check it out. Welcome back to Monsters of Destruction on the Outdoor Channel. Wade Sherman and Kevin Hines with you. The stage is set for semifinal number 2 of obstacle course racing action. There's Paul Jensen in Spider-Man. He's supposed to be going up against his dad, Craig Christensen, in the Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer too hot, can't come out. Guess who's going to the finals, Kevin?
That's right. Spider-Man going to reign victorious here in semifinal action. Going to move on to the big show here tonight in the finals. The Tough Country Spider-Man truck with a 10.875 in semifinal action. And Dragon Slayer not going to make it.
You would think he might save the truck here for the finals, but he just posted the best time of the night. Look at him slide around that turn. Not a single bobble. Doesn't touch the big mound that everybody else has gotten hung up on. A perfect run, 10.876, a track record for Paul Jensen. Moving on to semifinal number 2. This will feature Dan Patrick and SAMSON going up against Rick Long and BIGFOOT. I know this is Roswell, and I know there's alien stuff going on, but is this deja vu?
Absolutely. We saw these guys take the matchup in heat race action, and now as the fastest loser, driver Rick Long comes back in the BIGFOOT truck. and now they go head-to-head one more time to actually advance through semifinal. And look at this, Dan Patrick and Samson looks like he's going to the big show.
He won it going away with a time of 11.415. Bigfoot comes across the line 0.8 behind at 12.203.
And that is going to lead us through the replay here. Let's take a look at Samson one more time. Dan Patrick really finessing that truck with the cantilever suspension. Coming back around, he's lined up off of the mount and takes the win very easily against Rick Long in the Bigfoot truck.
He's just trying to get some extra speed off that high bank turn, huh, Kevin?
Absolutely. Look at the reaction time. 6/1000ths of a second difference. These drivers were both out here to win, but I tell you what, the race was lost right there in that J-Style corner.
The stage is set now for the finals of obstacle course racing action. It will be Spider-Man, driven by Paul Jensen, going up against Samson, driven by Dan Patrick. On a short, tight course like this, Kevin, I got to give the edge to Spider-Man.
You know, we saw Spider-Man post the fastest time in the J-Style racing that we have seen so far this season, especially out here in Roswell, New Mexico. Let's see how he does. It looks like he slept a little bit off the light there. Driver Dan Patrick, we know, is very quick on the light tree. And here he comes. Looks like he's going to take the win pretty easy, Wade.
Flying across the line there at the finish, Samson with a time of 10.786. I can't believe it. Another track record. Man, he's on fire. What a great win for Patrick here. It looks like experience triumphs over youth. Great around the turn. Barely hits the edge of that center obstacle. Flies through the air and comes across the finish line as sparks fly off the rear of that truck. What a great win for Samson. Let's take a look at Paul Jensen's run now. Paul had a much slower reaction time of 0.366. Samson on the wheel again, 0.07. That's where the race was won. Your finals in round 2 of obstacle course racing, it was Dan Patrick in first, followed by Paul Jensen, Rick Long, Craig Christensen, Rick Swanson, and Frank Scattini. Let's get a word from our winner. Kevin, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, down here now with Paul Jensen. Now, Paul, you've had to overcome a lot of things this weekend. You were able to come out here, throw down some good runs. You ended up in the final round and put up a heck of a fight.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Dan's a real tough competitor, and I guess if I have to lose somebody, it'd be to a true professional.
Well, I tell you what, yesterday you were having problems with the truck. It seems like you've got that dialed in for round number 2 out here in Roswell. What changed?
We went through a lot of electrical issues, magneto coil, spark plugs, wires. We got that all worked out, made a gear change, and it worked out pretty well.
Well, excellent. I tell you what, don't know if you got told this or not, but you came out here with the fastest Chicago-style time with a 10.08. Faster than anybody else out here by a full second. And so congratulations on that. It's great to have you back.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Maybe next time I'll repeat it.
All right, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Spider-Man, come on, put your hands together for Paul Jensen out of Salt Lake. Dan, it seems like you just can't get enough camera and mic time down here. Once again, you're reigning victorious out here, and it's great to have you out.
Well, you keep coming back long enough, finally you get the prize, you know. So, hey, this kid's got some serious game in that truck, you know. I come out here thinking I was going to be runner-up, you know. But, hey, when you got nothing to lose, you push for all of it. So that was my best run of the weekend. You know, it takes a few laps to get down, but now we're packing up and going to the next gig. So, but no, it was a great run, and we're real happy with it.
I tell you what, I know a question that everybody has been dying, and I know they've been asking me up in the tower up there is, what kind of a role does the funny car experience that you have play in the monster truck game?
Well, you know, we didn't do that much, but, you know, we've done like 4 different professional monster truck racing series with professional timing equipment and all that. And plus I own a system. So, you know, again, it's just understanding the system, understanding how the lights work. And trust me, these guys will, you know, I'm just getting lucky right now. These guys will be on it next couple of events.
I tell you what, lucky or not, it's great to have you out here. You're in the winner's circle. You're going to take some cash home, and congratulations on your win in round number 2.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Patrick and Samson!
So freestyle yet to come, but your standings in straight line after 2 rounds. Craig Christensen on top in the Dragon Slayer, followed by Dan Patrick, Rick Swanson, Paul Jensen, Rick Long, and Frank Scattini. Your season standings in obstacle course racing look like this. After 2 rounds, it's Dan Patrick, followed by Rick Swanson, Rick Long, Craig Christensen, Paul Jensen, and Frank Scattini. Freestyle here in Monsters of Destruction, round 2 of the 2006 season from Roswell, New Mexico. And taking the track first is Bigfoot, driven by Rick Long. Kevin, they usually save the biggest truck for last. This just proves that MOD may not be staged like some of those other monster truck shows you see.
That's right. Monsters of Destruction, the truest form of racing yet. There is absolutely nothing staged in these events. These trucks come out as they see them, and you and I call them as we see them. And that's
you're
the name of
only
the
as
game.
good as your last move. And when you go first, it's hard to win freestyle, but Rick Long got some major air right there.
That's right. Rick Long and the 30-year legacy of Bigfoot has definitely come out to prove something here in round number 2 at Roswell, New Mexico. He's got 90 seconds to go on the clock, and we're already partway into that run. Let's see what he's got in store for us tonight, Wade.
There's a huge center obstacle in the middle of this track. A lot of speed being carried by Rick Long right there as he attacks his next stack of cars. No, he doesn't. He goes over the whoop-de-doo there on the outside lane. He'll swing it around. Bigfoot, known for big air. Let's see what he does right here. He's on the gas. He's flying high here in Roswell. Nice jump there for Long and Bigfoot.
That's right, and I know for our television viewers out there, it doesn't appear that the truck is actually going that fast. However, when he carries 20 to 30 miles an hour sometimes around the arena, it doesn't look like a whole lot because the truck is so large and the tires are so big. But that jump right there, almost 20 foot of length of air time.
He's been in the air a long time. A little bit left to go here in the freestyle run of Rick Long and Bigfoot. Looks like he's winding down here. Maybe he's setting up his next move. Up and over the big center jump. He got some major hang time that time. Way up in the air was Bigfoot.
And look at that, barely enough time to even shut down this arena here in Roswell, New Mexico for round 2. Very, very short and stout, so these drivers have to plan their freestyle routes from start to finish, not always just go for broke like you see sometimes in Monster Truck Freestyle.
They added some cars to the center of the arena. Bigfoot tackles that big Suburban and crushes it. He's going into a donut here. Can't really hook it up yet. He's trying, but it's not quite there. He's going around in circles, but now he's got it. Nice revolutions, and this donut is a good way to finish for Rick Long.
That's right, Rick Long and the Bigfoot truck out of St. Louis, Missouri, putting out a great run in freestyle here in round number 2. A great way for this man to end the night here in Roswell, New Mexico, with a beautiful freestyle run for all of us to enjoy.
You know, Kevin, we keep thinking he's going to finish, but I don't think he's done. He's definitely over his 90 seconds, but he is going to keep it moving there. He finally brings it to a halt, and he had some impressive moves here.
That he did, and Rick Long stepping out of the truck, enjoying the crowd's applause there. Now, a lot of these drivers, it's tough to pull them off of the track because they're going to do what they're going to do, and they won't stop until the crowd is pleased. Like that jump right there, Wade, absolutely huge air.
Here's the donut. Hooked up a nice one here in Roswell. Did Rick Long. The crowd definitely impressed with the big air displayed by Bigfoot. So let's move on to our next truck now. Coming to the arena floor, it's Rick Swanson in the Obsession Machine carrying the FabTech sponsorship this year. Rick Swanson loves the showboat. We should have a lot of fun here in this freestyle run from Rick Swanson.
That's right. I know he's commented on AmeriGas and how much of a part they have played in his sponsorship as well. Now, this truck, in the process of being redone, it's got a new paint scheme this year out here for the FabTech sponsorship. And Rick has really done a lot with the truck and has come out strong both in rounds 1 and tonight in round number 2 in the straight line and obstacle course.
Guess I'm going to have to buy my kid a new diecast. He's got that old yellow and purple machine. He's going to want this one when he sees it on TV. He loves Rick Swanson, as do a lot of young fans because he's such a good showman. Hasn't done a whole lot yet here in freestyle. Still trying to pick his moves. There he's got some air up and over that Suburban in the center of the track. He's going to swing it around and give it one more shot here. Maybe thinks about a donut. Nope. Attacking the next jump now. Sets it up nicely on the gas. Not a lot of hang time right there. Bigfoot more impressive so far, Kevin.
That's right. The new Super Duty Ford chassis that he's got out there right now. You'll see he took a little bit of a launch off of the huge mound in the center of the track, but so far I would tend to agree with you. Rick Swanson, a little bit left to be desired out here for freestyle round.
About 30 seconds left in his freestyle run here in round 2 from Roswell. Plenty of time left to erase that distinction. He's going to try a donut here. On the gas now, trying to hook it up. The dirt not giving him a lot of traction. Bigfoot struggled too. Not really tight yet, but he's getting it. Now it's hooked up. The dirt is flying, and Swanson's into that donut.
That's right, and only a single donut he got out of it, as they have got to get the rear wheel steering and the front tires both hooked at the same time in order to get a true donut out of these monster trucks. Even running 1,000 to 1,500 horsepower, still very difficult to break those tires loose in the right fashion. And Rick Long coming back over the mound. It looks like he's getting fairly close to a finish. Let's see what he's got, Wade.
That's Rick Swanson in the FabTech Obsession machine. He's got a little bit of time left as he goes up and over the center jump. Let's see if he can put an exclamation point on the freestyle run here in Roswell. Looks like he may be done. No, he's going to go up and over the big jump one more time. He parks it on top of that center obstacle. He'll step out and wave to the Roswell, New Mexico crowd.
Enjoying being the crowd favorite. Right now, the center of attention is that FabTech Obsession and AmeriGas machine. Right now, Rick Swanson going to take his turn coming off of the course as he put in a great freestyle run for us out here tonight. Round number 2 of freestyle in Roswell, New Mexico.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look back now at some of the highlights of Rick Swanson's freestyle run here in round 2 from Roswell. Nice air right there for Swanson, and here he hooks up the nice right-handed donut. Took him a while to get it going, but when he did, it was a good one.
And look at Rick coming back over the mound right now. One of the few trucks that actually made it up and over that mound during freestyle run. There you see him hamming it up like we're used to seeing Rick do. No camera he doesn't like.
One truck remaining. It's Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. And one thing's for sure, Kevin, when his truck is running well, he puts on a heck of a show in freestyle. He's not afraid to go through fences. He's not afraid to turn that thing upside down. He has a lot of fun out there.
I would have to say that our 2005 series champion was the champion for several reasons. One of those reasons being the fact that he knew how to tune his truck, and that thing ran good 99% of the time. He's got one of the most powerful big block motors out there today in monster truck racing, and in freestyle he's able to use it to his advantage to get him some airtime.
Got up pretty high right there. Craig Christensen still trying to feel his way around this course here in Roswell, New Mexico.
Now, as we had mentioned in previous competitors here, Wade, this track is very, very tight for freestyle. A lot of these drivers having to plan their attack on the course in several different ways in order to change up the run. And there you see a huge wheelie stand by Craig Christensen in the Dragon Slayer. And like you mentioned before, he's definitely not afraid to put it all out there on the line.
Well, Roswell, New Mexico is famous for flying objects, and Craig Christensen is flying high here in freestyle tonight. Major air over that jump into a slap wheelie. Can't really hold it for as long as he would have liked to, but again, that's because this arena is a little bit short. Carries a lot of speed into this next approach. A lot of distance on that jump right there. Craig Christensen putting on a pretty good show here in freestyle.
That's right, the Tough Country Hummer coming out here and putting on a great show for this Roswell, New Mexico crowd. Our 2005 season champion Dragon Slayer, Craig Christensen, coming up for another attack on the center section of cars. Let's see what he's got in store. It looks like he might be coming to the close of his round here.
Threw it in reverse, attacks the jump. Look at him go way up high. That was the best jump of freestyle as far as I'm concerned.
That's right. He looked like he set up the attack very well, got a nice launch off of it. In fact, almost got a wheelie to follow it up, and here he goes into a left hook donut up on 2 wheels. Wade, that's one of the best donuts we've seen.
The body man was looking at that pretty anxiously, thought he was going to get some extra work this weekend, but it was not to be. Craig Christensen putting on a heck of a show here in Roswell. A little bit of time left for him. Sliding sideways across that jump, attacks it. Parks with the nose down, then gets back on the gas. Is he done? Yes, he slides to a stop. So Craig Christensen celebrates a great freestyle run. He'll park that Dragon Slayer machine.
The Dragon Slayer out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
Pretty good show here in Roswell round 2, eh, Kevin?
You know, I got to say, this is some of the better freestyle that we've seen out here. Round number 1 was a little bit disappointing as far as the freestyle rounds went. tonight they came out, they laid it out a little bit more on the line, and we were able to see some better freestyle, some better racing, and some great competition out here for the Monsters of Destruction. Let's take a look at the undercar camera from Craig Christensen's truck in the Dragon Slayer, Wade.
There's a lot going on down there, but if it looks this crazy from underneath, how do you think it feels inside the cockpit of that?
You know, I gotta say, I do not envy these drivers. They sit in that seat and get beat up. It's kind of like sitting on a washing machine, and you just can't see straight. You can't hold your head still. There's a lot of things and a lot of reasons that they have those Hans devices and all the harnesses that they do and the safety gear involved in these machines.
A lot of punishment being absorbed by the suspension of that Dragon Slayer truck. There's one more look, flying high, tries to carry a wheelie over the cars into a little bit of a slap right there. He was looking good tonight. Look how high he gets right here.
The front end of that truck had to be approximately 20 feet in the air, so to look skyward and to have it slam down on the ground like that, punishment might not even be the word, Wade.
An exciting show. We'll be back with you next week with another exciting Monsters of Destruction episode here on the Outdoor Channel. For Kevin Hines, this is Wade Sherman saying good night, everyone.